Okay, I'm making this video in reply to Detroit Garage. I'm trying to figure out what's going on, why my Trojan wheel loader won't idle. And I believe now, after a little research, that this is a 453T. I originally thought, it's not a T, but it's a 453. I originally thought it was a 471, but I believe it's a 453, but you can clarify on that. So I originally thought it was a fuel problem. I had changed the oil. I had 1540 in it that I put in by mistake, and then I realized you're supposed to have straight 40, so I changed it back to straight 40. And then there was a fuel line on the output of the primary fuel filter up here, which I changed because that was like crimped off. I changed that, and then I changed all the filters. This primary, the two primary filters and the secondary down here, they were all clean, nice and clean, good clean fuel in them, no water, no sludge. Everything looked good. This came from an asphalt company up in Maine, and they took pretty good care of stuff. It was a huge company, all states. And I noticed that the input fuel line from the tank was a little bit messed up looking, a little crimped off, collapsed. So I changed that. I spliced it there, but I changed, that's a new hose there. And it still won't idle. It runs perfect, doesn't smoke, nice clean smoke, exhaust. And so then I got thinking, okay, maybe it's something mechanical. So I'm thinking, what I was thinking after watching your videos is I did pull this off for the idle adjustment, and the screw and the stop nut inside there are pretty like rusty, like exposed. Maybe, some moisture got in there and got a little corrosion. And I noticed on the top, I loosened that, by the way. That was not loose. All the linkages seem to be the way they should be. I was thinking, this has got a grease fitting up here. I was thinking, okay, it's pretty dirty looking. I was wondering maybe if a little water got inside of there. That secondary plunger inside of the spring, if that was frozen a little bit, maybe it would cause it not to idle. When I was watching your videos, there's the main spring, and then there's a plunger inside of it, I guess. And another guy I was watching said he had the same issue. It was a frozen plunger and it wouldn't idle. So let me start it and I'll show you what it's doing. It always ran good. I used it a lot. I still use it a lot, but that's why I need to get it going. So get it to start here. I warmed it up, so it should start if I give it some gas. It's kind of a two-handed job here. Good oil pressure. Air pressure, everything's good. I'll show you, it ain't smoking much. Real clean exhaust. Sounds great when it's got throttle. So I'll let it run a second, but when it's got throttle, it runs great. But as soon as you let off slow, it just dies. So I don't know. I'm thinking it's something mechanical, just, because we get a lot of rain here. And being that it sits outside, I'm wondering, it's got the old, the pine needles and rain get down in here. And I'm wondering if something got moisture in it and froze, like that plunger that we were talking about. Or not froze, but rusted it enough that it's not moving the way that it should be. Because I was thinking it's either fuel. I've basically gone through everything fuel that I can think of, unless it's something like this little lift pump doesn't have enough pressure, ain't pulling enough or something like that at idle RPM. That's possible, I guess. And I don't know, this is clear hose I got on here, but when I pulled it off, there wasn't much fuel in it when I changed it, but it drained back down. So I don't know if that's possible on these either. If maybe the lift pump, this little pump, doesn't have enough head to pull it up through or something. It could be. You know a lot more about it than me. I mean, maybe there's oil pressure, something going on with the oil pressure. I think I read something somewhere that if there's not enough oil pressure, it may not idle because things are controlled by oil pressure, maybe. It's got to be something simple. I hate to pull the top end of the motor apart for an injector because it doesn't appear that it's an injector issue. It always ran great. Like I say, what happened was I went and changed the oil because the oil hadn't been changed. It was really dark and tarry, like you know how they get. So I put 1540 in, thinking, okay, just regular diesel oil, and then I realized that it needs to be straight 40. So I drained it all out, put straight 40 in it, and it ran. It's just been running good. And then it was not running right. It would die when I was using it. You'd let off, you'd get out of it for a minute, and and then it'd die. And now it'll run, but it won't idle. So like I say, I changed some fuel lines. I changed all the filters, fresh fuel. So maybe you can give me a little insight as to what may be going on with it. The linkage for the throttle goes down underneath for the foot pedal, and there's a spring on it that keeps the tension on the pedal. I think everything's good with that. I've looked at it. Like I say, I messed with that. I don't think anything's been changed on that. So anyway, that's the story. Thank you.